Welcome back to the 4th Down Podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and today we got some wild news. Wild news around the NFL today. Lots of trades, lots of releases, including Marshall and Lattimore. But I think the biggest one today is the Detroit Lions have traded David Montgomery to the Houston Texans for a 4th-round pick, a 7th-round pick, and a offensive lineman named. I'll give 1 second. Offensive lineman named Juice Shrugs. I apologize if I mispronounced that name, but it's a big day for the Lions as they finally traded David Montgomery to the Houston Texans for two draft picks and an offensive line. I think it's a great trade for both teams. For Houston, they get David Montgomery over there to help out with the run game because Joe Mixon was out for the 2025 season. And Nick Chubb, he still has a little bit left, but not as much. So getting David Montgomery get a fresh start in Houston is huge. And then for Detroit, they get a offensive lineman boost. Because the O-line was one of the biggest problems with the Lions last season. You could tell down the stretch, especially in the game against the Vikings on Christmas Eve, they couldn't really block anybody. So what does it mean for the Lions moving forward? Well, one, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get paid a lot of money. That's one thing. They're going to ride Jahmyr Gibbs through not only next year, but beyond that, maybe 5 years. He's the top running back in the league. In my personal opinion, he's going to get paid like one. And who knows if Detroit's going to get a backup in the draft or get like a player like less value, like a player that has a little bit less value to them than David Montgomery, if they want to get one in free agency like that. But Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get paid. Now, for people that play fantasy football, I would recommend getting him with the first overall pick because Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns, especially if Dan Campbell and the GMs can revamp this O-line. And that's what Dan Campbell said, too, with his trade. He wants to bring back the bully-style football, pretty much run the ball with a good O-line, and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to make that happen. Again, it's a great trade for both sides. Now, for the Texans, they get a good running back in Montgomery. He's not a terrible running back, and I said on yesterday's show, that if for any team, if they get David Montgomery for a 5th-round pick at the asking price at the time, it's a steal. I still think trading for a 4th, 7th, and a lineman, losing a lineman stinks, hurts to lose guys, but getting for a 4th and a 7th like that, it's a pretty good deal for a guy like David Montgomery too. He's a physical running back. He can be a great runner too. Had a pretty nice career with Detroit, after being released by Chicago. But it's nice for them to, nice for him to get that fresh start. So I think him on the Texans will be great. He'll get a fresh start. And he might be close to maybe a 1,000-yard run or two. It depends. But this trade values more the Lions, like I said, than the Texans. Like getting those 2 draft picks and basically, 7th and a 4th, that's a steal. I mean, include the lineman too. It's kind of an even trade. I think Houston wins the trade because again, I think David Montgomery should have been worth like a 3rd-round pick at most. But since he kind of won out of Detroit, I think Detroit respected that and wanted to get him out there as quickly as can. So they kind of lowered the value down to like a 4th or a 5th-round pick. And again, it just means a lot more for Jahmyr Gibbs. And also could change the way Detroit plays offense now. Because usually near the red zone too, and 4th and real short, they give the ball to Dan Montgomery sometimes or do a quarterback sneak with Jared Goff. Dan Montgomery was the bully in the backfield. Jahmyr Gibbs had that incredible speed. Bearing the nickname Sonic and Knuckles. Now there's Sonic, who's going to get paid a lot of money and hopefully wins a ring in Detroit. But I really like the trade for both teams. I think overall both teams got what they wanted. I think Dave Montgomery got a chance to finally um, move on from Detroit, get a fresh start, get a starting job most likely. I mean, I don't know why they would trade for him if he didn't get the starting job, depending on what happened with Joe Mixon. But it seems like Dave Montgomery is going to probably play a lot of snaps for the Texans, depending on what happens with Joe Mixon. So that's what I think about the Lions trade with Dave Montgomery to Houston. I think it's an even trade for them. We'll see what happens. And we'll definitely see what happens, too, with the money situation with Jahmyr Gibbs. He's going to pay a lot of money now because their focus now is on the guy. He's going to be the highest paid running back in the league, no doubt about it. Whether it's going to be probably 20 plus million. Could probably go even 25 million a year if they really wanted to. I know they probably won't do that, but they could with a guy like Gibbs. So, again, thank you for listening to the 4th Down Podcast. Quick video today, trying to get Dave Montgomery to Houston out there. It's a good trade, big trade of the day at least. There's going to be plenty more trades to come. So please follow us on the 4th Down Podcast on YouTube. Please follow us on Instagram, X, and TikTok. And be sure to turn on notification because it's going to be a wild week in the NFL. A wild week. I mean, we're just getting started. We got Max Crosby news coming out. We got everything else going. So, thank y'all for watching. Have a good rest of your night.